You could thank me now.
After a shaky start of the 2017 season, the Chargers missed the playoffs going 9-7. But here's 5 reasons why the Chargers can make the playoffs. Number 5, dual pass rush. Now, we have to look at 2 pass rushers, Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram. Bosa will go on to have 12.5 sacks and 4 forced fumbles. Meanwhile, Melvin Ingram has had 10.5 sacks, a total of 23 sacks combined by both star players. These 2 guys have put the NFL on notes on how deadly they can really be. Having these 2 will definitely make other quarterbacks in the division more leery of their presence and try to get rid of the ball faster, which can generate a lot more turnovers for the LA Chargers. Forgive me. Number 4, Derwin James. Personally, I believe the Chargers got to steal the draft with Derwin. This should bolster up their secondary to make it truly elite, so we could potentially see a next Eric Weddle 2.0 in LA. I know it might be a stretch, but this guy is really a beast. Last season, this defense gave up 17 points per game, giving up a total of 197.2 pass yards. Expect the Chargers to be a top 5 team in terms of pass yards allowed. Number 3, offense. Now, if all goes well for the Chargers and they don't lose another offensive piece like they lost in Hunter Henry, they can definitely put points up on the board. But they still have Keenan Allen, Melvin Gordon, Mike Williams, along with other good receivers and backs. They also signed Mike Pouncey, who can definitely improve their offensive line. Last year's offense was ranked 5th in the NFL, and they were ranked number 1 in the passing yards, having a total of 276 yards per game. All they need is a little bit more improvement in the run game. These guys will definitely be dangerous. Number 2, the Phillip Rivers factor. Alright guys, out of the AFC West, who's the best quarterback? Phillip Rivers, right? I mean, Alex Smith is gone. You got Patrick Mahomes. This guy there's a lot of uncertainty with Patrick Mahomes. Like, can he meet and handle all these expectations for the Chiefs? Because their expectation is they still believe they can get to the playoffs and, that they were a quarterback away from really getting over that hump. So let's see how Patrick Mahomes handles that pressure. Now, Denver got Case Keenum. That's a lot of uncertainty because can Case Keenum repeat what he did with the Vikings? New coaching staff and new offense, not the same weapons and things of that nature. So, that would definitely be a vocal point for Case Keenum to really prove that he can deserve to be a starting quarterback. Then we move on to Oakland, Derek Carr, a guy who was considered to be an MVP a couple seasons ago. Then we all know what happened. Injury, and then they kind of underachieved. Currently with a new head coach in Chucky. So of course there's uncertainty. What I'm really getting at is that Phillip Rivers is the best in his division. He's been a staple of that division in terms of quarterbacks. I mean, there's been multiple quarterback changes throughout the division for this I want to say past decade. But Phillip Rivers has had the longest tenure in that division, if that makes sense, guys. So Phillip Rivers put up 28 touchdowns to 10 INTs. So this division should be rightfully the Chargers based on quarterback. I mean, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's wide open, but Phillip Rivers does have definitely a good chance based on quarterback talent, So it will be nice to see Phillip Rivers potentially take his team all the way. I do like his chances of winning the division, And number 1, they have a complete roster. Coming into this season, the Chargers have the most complete roster in the AFC West, so we have to look at other teams. I know I just touched bases on them a little bit, but let's look further at their rosters. Chiefs, second-year quarterback. Is he ready to take that big stage and carry out expectations? Also, the secondary. They lost an all-pro cornerback in Marcus Peters. How can he duplicate his success on the defensive side of the ball? Can Fuller be the next man for the Chiefs? They can have, we'll have to see. The Rays have a head coach who hasn't coached in a decade. Mind you, this is the same coach who wanted Tim Tebow, the he's gonna gut you kind of guy. I don't know. Defensively, there's just Khalil Mack and just a bunch of other guys on that side of the ball, which means there comes more pressure with the offense for Derek Carr to constantly put up points on the board. Let's face it, that defense isn't Denver, nor even close to the Kansas City Chiefs, so I can't really just see like the Oakland Rays having a better, roster than the Chargers. Speaking of the Broncos, though, they have Case Keenum. As I mentioned a couple minutes ago, the Broncos have such an offensive, are very offensively challenged, so to speak. They were ranked 27th in the league for points per game. Let's hope Case Keenum can turn his fourth offense into something special. Having said all of that, the Chargers have the best overall roster. I mean, you look at that quarterback, wide receiver, backs, and defense. They certainly have a one-up on on all their different divisional opponents in different ways. In terms of the Chiefs, you got a better quarterback. Raiders, they have a better overall defense. Broncos, better offense. So, when you compare this roster as a whole, the Chargers seem to have everyone beat in terms on what they look like on paper. Now, that has yet to be seen on the field and whatnot, but I honestly think that the Chargers can definitely make some noise this season. So, and let's keep in mind, the only thing that really concerns me about this Chargers team is their ability to finish games and their woeful field goal kicking. Keep in mind, guys, 4 of the games they lost were by a field goal. So, even if they were to beat one of those teams last season, they would have been 10-6, which means they would have been in the playoffs instead of the Buffalo Bills, and we probably would have saw something much more exciting. So, after deep talk and consideration about the Chargers and based on their schedule, which they play the NFC West and AFC North, I honestly have them going 10-6, maybe 11-5, but that things have to go their way. You know how football is, guys. But 10-6 is more realistic for them. I believe they can make the playoffs this year and definitely do some damage, barring if everyone is healthy and nothing crazy happens. They don't do terrible field goal kicking. Well, guys, that's my take on the LA Chargers. Let me know what other team I should do in terms of who can make the playoffs. Comment if you think the Chargers are going to dominate the AFC West, or comment if you think the Broncos, Raiders, or Chiefs, are going to take control of that division. But if you think about it, Phillip Rivers is the best quarterback in the division, so he should really be able to hold that division down for sure. But with all that being said, guys, if you're new, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you share this video, and I am out.